Hey guys, wow, that was the ultimate YouTuber. Hey guys, it's a really exciting day because I have my lights here, I have my good camera. I wouldn't go as far to say we're settled in our new place, but we are in our home. Out of hotels after 3 weeks. It has been such a journey moving back here to Texas after 4 or 5 years in New York. But we finally made the first step in a little bit of stability. So it's exciting to share with you guys. But at the same time, do a funny little video that I teased at you. And then the comments came in, and apparently you guys really want to go through one of my most personal spaces online. It is my Zillow saved homes. If you're new to the videos, honestly, this is probably the most random video I have ever made. But hi, my name is Sarah Dici, rhymes with Peachy. Thank you so much, Milanote, for sponsoring this video. Milanote is an easy to use tool that helps you organize your ideas and projects into visual boards. So for you creatives out there who have your ideas maybe in the physical world with sticky notes and just everything is everywhere, this is such a beautiful place for creative people to get organized. And as I go through all of my Zillow saves and as I kind of explain to you what it's like in New York City trying to buy something, buy a condo, what our house process was like, you'll see here on my Zillow board all of the notes that I've made and all the embedded links that will help tell the story. So if you want to check it out, the link is in my description below. But let's hop into it. So the room that I'm standing in right now is our condo. It's John and I's first home together, which is pretty exciting. Now, some of you guys might be like, Sarah, you moved to Texas. Why did you get a condo? John.
Talk to me, kid.
If we owned a big house with a yard, who would mow the lawn?
I would. I actually find it kind of therapeutic.
Oh! Well, did we just make a huge mistake then, getting a condo?
Oh, I'd still rather not do it. If we had a home, I would do it.
Congrats on us being in our first new home. That's all.
Okay. Get out.
I'm sure I could say a lot about that, but to keep it short, we just weren't ready. I know I'm a 26-year-old adult with a big girl job, but a house? Why does that seem so scary? So I guess we're being responsible. We're not throwing away our money by renting, which I don't believe at all. There are times to rent, there's times to buy. I think it's really weird when people shame people into buying houses and then they go housebroken. That's a whole other thing, but we're not talking about that. Let's talk about Zillow. I've already made videos of why we moved to Texas, but something I briefly mentioned was, hey, when you're in New York City and hey, the job is going good, you're starting to make money, naturally the next step in trying to build your wealth as a responsible human being is, well, investing, buying a house. I don't really consider a personal property an investment property, but you are investing in yourself. You're investing in an asset. It can be something super meaningful to pass down to your children or a helpful nest egg to aid retirement. And let's be honest, if you grew up watching HGTV, it's just like in your blood, own a house, own a house, own a house. And so as I made a home in New York City and I really fell in love with the city, I was okay, you know what? It's gonna take a lot of hard work, but I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna buy that dream condo. And so naturally, if you just want a normal amount of space, say 1 bedroom, dare I say 2 bedroom, there are some somewhat okay places that you can find for, wait for it, $1.5 million. So that's kind of where you have to start if you're considering Manhattan, but there's also a lot of lovely places in the surrounding boroughs to live, but we really enjoyed being in the middle of things. So let's start this Zillow journey with this listing right here. Okay, wow, this looks gorgeous. Take me back to New York City right now. Apparently prices are dropping so much because New York City has come to their senses with everything that has happened this past year, and they're ready to start thinking rationally with real estate prices. That was a joke. Okay, so let's scroll. Wow. Yep, 2 bed, 3 bath. We have a $50,000 price cut, 1,800 square feet. Wow, that's the same square footage we have here. Very nice. Look at those views. Oh wait, what's this? What's this picture down here? What are these hideous pictures down here with the green carpet? And oh my God. oh wait, these first pictures that we clicked on, you can't really tell from this view, but oh, it says in very small font, this is virtually staged, so it actually looks like that nightmare of a place from the pictures from below. Okay, you know what? Maybe that's okay, because you spend $400,000 on complete gut renovation. Hey, those are some good bones. 303 East 57th Street. Okay, well, you know what? I'll give this a chance. Let's just go over down here where it's gonna tell us the HOA fee. For those of you who don't know what an HOA fee is, it's a homeowners association fee. That is the fee that a building takes every month from the residents to hire doormen to just keep up with the upkeep of the building. $6,000. $6,000. HOA every single month. That's not going towards your mortgage or interest or anything tangible. That just goes straight to the building every month. Okay, so now we know a little bit of the craziness and what to look for in New York City. And I'm sorry if I ruined some of these fun Zillow scrolling experiences for you if you do this in New York City. Let's now go forward and look at some of these spaces after years of scrolling for me that are actually pretty cool, but just insanely expensive. And that your girl Sarah legitimately thought that she had a chance at. I thought this place was so gorgeous off East 62nd Street. It's such a good neighborhood. Look, you have all of this outdoor space that's gorgeous. And you know, it's a really good space. You're just in the thick of it. $975,000, but boom, we have a $5,000 HOA fee. Okay, next. Oh, I actually really loved this one. And the next few are interesting because it has said they've had a pending offer on them for a really long time. I don't know what's going on there, if they were actually bought. So this is West 36th Street. This street is actually the exact street that I lived on when I first moved to New York City, in the very bottom level of Hell's Kitchen. I wouldn't really call it Hell's Kitchen. It's just kind of like the Penn Station neighborhood. So it's not really nice, but man, how cool is this space? I loved the kitchen. This isn't a private roof, but it's a shared roof. I love that it has a balcony and $895. I actually really liked this one, and the HOA isn't too insane. It's $1,200 a month, which is kind of crazy in New York. But if you go down to this price per square feet, it's still $1,100 price per square feet. When you come over here to Texas, or at least the condos you look at, well, you're starting to look at in the $250 range price per square feet, $250 to $350 on the higher end. This is so funny that I'm showing you guys these places. And I'm going to show you a few that actually did sell and why it made sense this past year. I thought this place was gorgeous. It was so beautifully designed, but it is so small. Again, it's 850 square feet for $1.35 million, West 23rd Street. It's right by the High Line in New York City. And so it's just a really hip and popular place. And so that's why it is so expensive. It's a really cool layout for the smallness of the apartment. It's only one bed, but I love the beams on the ceiling. I love the kitchen. It's just a very mature and seemingly lived in apartment. And you're right next to the High Line. $2.8 thousand a month with the HOA. You're paying that every single month. It's not going towards your mortgage. So can I just take a moment and say, anyone who ever commented on my apartment tour videos in New York City that's like, you're throwing your money away. This is just buy something. Just buy something? It is impossible. Here's another one that was just so cool because it was just super lofty in Midtown, very New York. You could do a really cool renovation on this space and make it look not weird like that. I feel like the economics just don't really make that much sense. And these two down here were the coolest ones. And again, keep in mind, these are me saving these, thinking one day you can afford this $1.8 million apartment in New York City. Well, what was I smoking? Oh man, I thought this one was so cool. I'm pretty sure it was in the Chelsea area. It had a $2,000 a month HOA, but it had this little loft with a bed. And then this guy, this isn't even on the market anymore, but this was my fixer-upper that I tweeted about. I was so stoked about. I legitimately was like, I'm gonna pour all of my money into this to redo this. What was I thinking? 2,400 HOA. And actually keep in mind, this is a co-op. So there's a difference between a co-op and a condo in New York City. A co-op is where you have to go in front of a board of people, of the owners, the other owners in the building, and present all of your personal information to these just like people, and then they have to approve you to say, oh yes, we're going to allow you to spend $1.3 million on this dump. But this one was actually really cool. It had good bones. But this is the cool thing. It literally had a private rooftop. How cool is that? Be throwing so many parties. You guys know me. I'm a party thrower. So how are you guys feeling about what our options were here in New York City? Honestly, it's probably a much more fun game to just go to the complete suburbs somewhere on your Zillow app and just be like, how much can I afford for $3 million? And it's a mansion, It is kind of fun to see the journey of these properties. It sounds kind of goofy talking about it, but when something sells, you're like, oh, you know what? That makes sense. That makes sense that sold. Yeah, this last year, people need outdoor space, right? And that is really a common thread for these properties that actually did sell. And I have to say, man, I look at them and I'm just bummed. I'm like, man, I should have bought that. With what money, Sarah? I tell you what, this place in Greenpoint, so it's a little out there in Brooklyn. The subway doesn't really go out there, but it's next to a really nice park. It's a really great neighborhood. And this is just a beautiful building. I'm not sure if it's a new build, but it does look like it. If you look at this roof, this is a completely private roof that you get to your own. So you get one half and the rest of the building gets the other half. When I saw this and, it has all these new finishes, it has these beautiful arch windows. When I saw this, I legitimately was like, John, we got to go see this. The building looks so cool and it's just a super homey neighborhood. 2-bed, 1-bath, under $1 million. So for $930,000, which is rare, but then you say that again, $930,000. Oh, it's still a lot of money for 829 square feet. But this one, we actually took our bikes and we rode to, we looked outside. We legitimately at the beginning of 2020, when all the craziness was happening, was like, oh my gosh, our price is going to plummet. No one wants to live here in New York anymore. It might be our time to pounce and get a deal. Because look at this too. If you go to Brooklyn, the HOAs aren't as crazy. It's $400 a month, which is like nothing, right? So that's really awesome. But here's the thing, prices still really haven't dropped. There has been no moment for Manhattan, for New York City yet, where there has been any deals on condos. So yes, what you might hear in the news, rent is temporarily being decreased. Our last place, we got a good deal. We saved maybe $500 a month on an already very expensive apartment. I don't even want to admit how much we were spending on it. It's the most we ever spent on rent on an apartment. And that's when it kind of came to the point that, okay, I haven't believed in renting is throwing your money away until this moment right now when we're paying this amount of crazy money. The market is not budging at all. Maybe it will come and maybe the next year if people really stop moving to New York. But hey, I'm still bullish on New York as a city. People are still going to flock there, but people are going to have a hard time making that first huge step to building your wealth, which is buying your own home and owning a place that you actually have some equity in it, right? But none of this makes sense. None of it does. Oh man, I feel like my blood's boiling again, because like maybe it's a piece of me that like wanted it so bad, and then you realize how much money that actually is and how silly it is. So yeah, I don't know, it's super tough, and it's tough to be this kind of small city with so many people and so much foreign investment in one city. It's not like you're just competing against the people who are living there. You're competing against people from all over the world who want a slice of New York City because they think that, hey, they're going to earn more interest on their money by keeping it in an empty Manhattan apartment where they don't live instead of a bank. That's really what you're going up against. So I know this video has maybe dragged on a lot, me talking about Zillow. You're like, Sarah, I don't care about this. What are you saying? Okay, well, let's actually do a quick little detour to to Texas, where we are right now, and look at the 3 different condos that we saw and reveal which one we chose. Before we get into that, I just want to say thank you one more time to Milanote for sponsoring this video. Okay, so I gave you the spiel, Milanote is an amazing creative tool. Get your ideas organized, your projects organized in a very visual way. But let's show you some actual examples. A lot of times we write notes in a very linear fashion, but people like you and me, videographers, photographers, designers, we got to mood board stuff out. I do a lot of stuff in the physical world, whether it's with sticky notes, I'm writing on my whiteboard desks, I'm taping things to walls. Well, Milanote does a really good job of being the digital version of that, having paint swatches, pictures, embedded links. Like you guys just saw, it made just a bunch of Zillow links and a couple notes be really, really pretty and accessible and fun to click on. It has a super flexible drag and drop interface that lets you rearrange things in whatever way that makes sense for you and your project. A little tip for you if you decide to try out Milanote with my link in the description below. If you press Z, that zooms out your entire board to the full screen, and then Z to zoom back in, press the space bar, and you can click around and move your canvas around like that. And if you have any other questions about shortcuts, you can just press the / key and it tells you all right there. It can get really powerful once you get really quick with it. You can use it with just you, or you can collaborate with your team, leave comments, draw arrows, do all the things. And as you can see, no matter what industry you are, it's a super creative way to collaborate, to get your ideas down, and apparently keep listings of condos that I will never buy super organized and pretty. Okay, so check out that link in the description below. And without further ado, let's go through the 3 places that we checked out in Texas before we bought the place that I am standing in right now. Man, I feel like this is such a random video. I hope you're sticking with me, guys. So here's the thing about the DFW, the Dallas Fort Worth houses are selling like hotcakes. And I guess it's kind of cool since I grew up here the first 20 years of my life to see this place be like the hip place to live. I don't know. That's kind of cool. But people will list their house same day, get tens of offers. You sell above asking price. It's just crazy. Lucky for us who like walkable areas and condos, we're not necessarily offering people more money than they're asking. Okay, so this first spot was actually really cool. It was like in the center of Dallas, which we learned we just did not want that at all. But there was so much space. It was that really lofty vibe. But if you look close, like a lot of work would have to be done on it. The kitchen wasn't really that nice. I actually really loved the crazy floor, like that map compass looking thing. I don't know. It looked like a place that I could really film some videos in. But when you're there, we actually visited this place. It was just like really dirty. And when I say dirty, I mean like leaks and holes in the walls and black stuff that looked like mold. And it just wasn't it. This room right here was really creepy, like extremely creepy, but it had a balcony, which was pretty cool. But it was just very neat to see that units like that exist. And the HOA was actually pretty expensive. I think it was over $2,000. So nothing really made sense, but it seemed like a really cool project for someone who was going to get in there and I don't know, just make it super beautiful. Okay, so this building was so cool. Kind of creepy. It was kind of off the beaten path. And again, it didn't have that walkability that we wanted with a ton of like restaurants and stores that we're used to, but it really had cool bones. I mean, it looked haunted. If you just look at that, I mean, that kind of looks like the outside of a haunted house. But if you go in, it has the exposed HVAC. It has a really cool concrete ceilings, and the kitchen's outdated. Again, a lot of this stuff, you would have to go in there, really strip out things, redo it. But it was cool to see that spaces like this again exist in the DFW, because in my brain automatically goes to, oh, that would be a really cool place to shoot videos. 265, 1,200 square feet, and the HOA was 665, which honestly I thought was still steep because they just had zero amenities. They had nothing going on. So number 1, no. Number 2, no. But this third place, we were like, hey, this is pretty cool. And so this place, spoiler alert, is, well, what we bought. And you've already kind of seen it a little bit behind me and in there. This is legitimately me cleaning the place for 30 minutes. It was so much more messy like this before, and I kind of just gave up. So there's still a lot of junk back there. But hey, so you get to see the pretty staged pictures, and then the fun is in a later video, we'll do a tour and you get to see what we did with it. So it's a 2-bed, 3-bath, 1,800 square feet. We really love the building and the amenities, and this unit specifically, we saw a lot of units, but this was the one that just made sense. It had these beautiful windows in the bedroom. It had a lot of nice and beautiful open space, and it was just, again, a really good layout. And there were some things that, oh, we want to tweak that, we want to make that our own, but it wasn't a complete full renovation because, as you know, we have switched to working from home. We are going to work out of this new place. I no longer have an office. So I didn't want a renovation that would just take like years. Who has time for that? We like need a home. So we've already done like half of the stuff. And the only thing that is left is really the kitchen. But again, good bones. And hey, if we want to spiff up the bathrooms later on, and that's just something that we can do as we live here in the coming years. And look, we have our own laundry room, guys. But yeah, super random video. But now you kind of saw where my brain was at the past few years in the delirium of thinking that I was gonna own like a $2 million New York City condo. Like, what is your problem, Sarah? To something that is a little bit more practical, but still just a lot of space to live and to create and just share life with you. So with that, let me know if you have any comments, and maybe, hey, in the next year, I will bring you along with the videos of the space and how it transforms. This was kind of a video, me wetting my toes in that, because I want to see if you respond to these types of videos. Do you want to see that kind of me transforming the space, or should I just say, hey, here's an apartment tour? I don't know. Okay, let me know if you like this video. Hit that subscribe button for new videos every single week. Make sure to check out my Milanote link in the description below. Thank you for sponsoring this video. See you in the next video. Stay peachy. Okay, bye.